Aloha, this is Eve speaking to you from the big island of Hawaii. How are you? We entered the beginning of 2021 months ago, and it is remarkable to see how much the world changed from a year ago. There are actually two worlds: the external world, which you can influence to a certain degree but not control, and the internal world, which you can both control and influence if you choose to. When I reflected on the unprecedented events that took place last year, I can say five lessons, or rather five insights, stood out the most for me. And you may also find some of them relevant and significant to you too. One, being grateful for the smaller, often overlooked sparks of happiness. Two, failed plans are not the end of the world. Three, living at a slower pace than the previous years is meaningful. Four, last year showed just how resilient I am no matter what. Five, I rediscovered the things that truly matter the most to me. Around this time a year ago, I was finalizing the manuscript for the German version of my book, Hawaiian Rebirth, and I was busy for many days planning many events to support the book launch. However, only a week before I thought I would fly to Switzerland, it became clear that that trip would not be possible. My book came out in German the same day. All bookstores closed in the German-speaking countries due to the outbreak of the pandemic. And I was saddened after all the work I had put in writing the book. So Eunjung and I stayed on Kauai for the next half a year, and instead of following a busy schedule in Switzerland, I am grateful that we were gifted with the rare solitary time. We could appreciate the quietest and slowest pace of life we have ever experienced on Kauai. Life on Kauai was already much slower compared to Switzerland, where I'm originally from. However, last year, with everything going into lockdown, it seemed that time completely stood still for many weeks. That time brought the bond between Eunjung and I even deeper and stronger as we went through different challenges, health-wise and emotionally. We discovered how resilient we are. The beauty and sacredness of Kauai felt even more powerful when we visited the magical beaches and mountains, and that time gave us a chance to rediscover what matters most to us. There is a beautiful quote I recently discovered: who you are, what your values are, and what you stand for, they are your North Star. You won't find them in a book, but you will find them in your soul. I can say the experiences of 2020 made more clear what my North Star is. In my book Hawaiian Rebirth, I wrote a chapter named Mapping Your Inner Landscape. It describes my experiences while I was creating an orienteering map in a beautiful, pristine area located in Colorado. By reading this chapter, you will also learn how you too can start living your purpose and how you can best help others to do the same. I mentioned that failed plans are not the end of the world. Just a month ago, Eunjung and I believed we would fly to South Korea to visit her family. However, unexpected circumstances stopped our plan. Instead, before we returned home to Hawaii, Anjung and I went on a 2-week journey in Colorado and New Mexico through many beautiful places and sacred sites in nature, including the Grand Sand Dunes National Park, Mesa Verde, the Chaco Canyon, and the Garden of the Gods near Colorado Spring. Most of you already probably know what this is. The red needle on a compass always points towards the magnetic north. A compass is essential if you want to navigate through an unfamiliar terrain, just as you would need a precise geographic map. This is exactly why you also need your inner compass in order to fulfill your highest destiny. I mentioned earlier there are outer and inner worlds we explore in life. When you look at the outer world, doesn't it seem that it is getting more and more complicated, disorienting and confusing? More than ever before we experience polarity, duality, different opinions and conflicts in many areas of our lives. Secure ground that we thought we had in the outer world seems to be fast falling beneath our feet. More confusing the outer world gets, the fewer answers we seem to have for the challenges and difficulties we face. So the question is, how do you forge through your own path, and how do you find your own answers in these times of uncertainty? I believe even these challenges and obstacles can have hidden blessings, because you are forced to look even more deeper to find what is true and real for you, and how to align your inner compass with your North Star. I believe it's a wake-up call for all of us to go deeper and ask ourselves the right questions about who we are, what our values are, what is most meaningful to us, how we can support others on their paths, and ultimately why we are brought forth to this beautiful earth. That is why I was inspired to write this chapter, how to navigate through life, in my book Hawaiian Rivers. As my gift for the new year, I would like to give away this chapter of my book to you. You will find the link for download right below this video or in the blog section on my website, ifnager.com. I am wishing you a happy belated new year, and that you will get even more clear what really matters most to you and why you are here.